Alright, it's going to be quite the day today. We're going to take care of an issue that we've had for the past 5 years. Rack and pinion. The rack and pinion on my Explorer is leaking on this side, on the seal. So this boot will fill up with fluid, and after a while it'll pour out here. Usually it doesn't spew into it. It doesn't spew out. It doesn't actually fill up all the way, but residual fluid fills up about halfway, and then when you jack up the car, it's just enough where it leaks out the thing and comes out all rusty and shitty looking. And it's never had inner tie rod ends. The ones in here still feel maybe not tight, but they're definitely not loose like the ones on the Mustang. Yeah, we gotta take care of that too. The rack on the Mustang is also leaking up in this area. It almost seems like this top seal on the Mustang's rack is blown. So we're gonna replace that with a performance one. But anyways, when you get this rack and pinion, it does come with new hardened polyurethane bushings. These are kind of smashed because of the packaging, but we'll heat those up with a heat gun and make them go in real easy. And this should be the other two right here. I don't know the orientation in which these are supposed to go yet. We'll find out when we go to assemble everything. I did fill this up with some power steering fluid, or Mercon 5 tranny fluid. This power steering system, like many Ford and GM and Dodge power steering systems, use transmission fluid. It helps absorb the heat better, especially if you're using this full synthetic shit. Now when you're at the parts store and you're getting your sockets and shit, don't forget to pick up this stuff. Alright, went and got another socket kit. Luckily I picked the last one that has the socket I need. It's a 1-inch to get at the lower bolts, or the lower nuts. I'll show you in a sec. 2 quarts of multi-vehicle synthetic Merc 5, blah 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 blah. Some cotter pins. You'll need some cotter pins if you're not replacing your tie rod ends. Yada yada yada. Blobbity blobbity. Yeah. So let's get to work. Our 2 large bolts are right under here. You're gonna need that 1-inch. So you got your brand new 1/2-inch drive kit. Get your 1-inch out. Alright, it fits in there. It's a little loose, but it fits. I'll see if my 15/16 fits up in there. Okay. 15/16 fits better. So that'll do. 15/16 for the lower nuts. And the reason why I went with these sockets is because it does have to be a deep. So I'm gonna get you on a little mini tripod and I'll break these loose. There we go. Oh, this is so nice having a breaker bar. Yeah, just get them loose until you can work them. Breaker bar is definitely necessary on this to help get it free. Make sure your wheels are straight though when you do this. I might actually go up in there and lock the steering wheel. Okay. Yeah, we'll ratchet those out. We will need to take, we'll possibly take the sway bar off, or since the 4-wheel drive's not in the way, we might be able to get away with turning it around and pulling it up through the back towards the engine and transmission. Alright, next We want to go ahead and take this little guy out here. You can actually just bend it back, and we'll pull it through with a pair of side cutters, and then we'll go ahead and take that little nut off there, and then pop the tie rod through. Okay, hopefully I don't bump into you guys. Yeah, that's why we got new ones. I should put this, just throw that in my freaking pan. Okay, it's what was it again? Oh yeah, 7/8. Yeah, we just put these on like last year before our Idaho trip. All our ball joints and everything are doing pretty good, eh? Yeah, I'm gonna need a hammer. Get a little hammer, we'll just tap on that and pop it through. The tire kind of came in a little bit. Let's actually check these. Yeah, they're still tight. On older vehicles, a crescent wrench doesn't always work. Okay, I'm gonna count how many threads are on this side and write it down. Okay, on this side there are 7 threads. I just cut the end off of it. Oh, it doesn't even want to come out. Okay, there goes those. I'm actually going to put the castellated nut back on the son bitch so I don't lose it from the rack, and it's almost impossible to see it from here, but it's got a little 13mm bolt on it, and I'll go ahead and take that off, and then you can go up top and pull the steering shaft away from the rack and pinion. We got to disconnect all our hoses, or just the 2. You have your return, which is on top, and your pressure down below. So we'll go ahead and remove those, and get your little plug ready for both of them. That way the little check thingy in there doesn't fucking come out. Alright, go ahead and remove your cooler nuts. They're held in with well, I don't quite have the right socket, but a 3/4 works. I have a feeling I may have to remove a tire, at least for one side. Because the way the rack and pinion has to come out, it has to go through one side and then get pulled back and go out the other. In the process of getting one of these bolts off, I ended up snapping one of these little thingies here. Yeah. So that bolt requires another right on the side. Drained all the fluid out. I got the return hose unbolted, or undone from the rack and pinion. So we're done to the pressure line here, and what I'm gonna do is, because that return line was a pain in the ass, I'm gonna leave the return line or the pressure line on the rack. I'm gonna go jack her up like right here. Move the wheel over. Okay. Well, with that out of the way, I should be able to move that out. Well, I'll be able to thread this guy off. Ah, shit. Alright, well, a little bit of persuasion. I got the hose off, and I got the rack out. Kinda played around with taking the tie rod ends off, but really didn't help all that much. What I figured out to do, first of all, you do have to remove the sway bar. So I removed that, and then you actually need to remove the bushings. You'll gain just a tiny bit of clearance, enough to where you can maneuver it to the passenger side, pull the driver's side out, and pull it out. But what you have to do is you have to turn it all the way to the right so that your driver's side is in all the way and your passenger side is out all the way. That'll let you get it out of there. Real pain in the ass, but let's go get this on the bench and see what's going on. I'll show you why it's leaking. Okie dokie. So, here's the reason why this is leaking. There wasn't enough grease put on these rods, so little bits of this got some either corrosion or rust right here, and that has damaged the seal. Now, there's a little check valve in there. We need to pop that out and put it in our new rack and pinion. Just sitting over there. We'll go ahead and turn it all the way to the have it where the driver's side is all the way in. And when you install it, you will not need to take the tie rods off. I'm actually able to get this off without taking the tie rods off. It just takes some persuading to get it out. But when you go to reinstall it, make sure you put your bushings in afterwards, not before, else you'll never get it in there. Or it'll fight you quite a bit. And I don't know if my new rack has that. If not, I'll just clean it up and transfer it over. No, it doesn't. We'll transfer that over. But anyways, let's transfer our stuff over and get this reinstalled. Yeah, this is about a 4 or 5 hour job. Just take your time, definitely. So this is a little check valve that you want to make sure you put in here. Now you want to make sure that you get your line set properly. See, the bottom one and the top one, or the pressure and the return, have the same size hose fittings, so you can easily mix them up and totally fuck this over. If you happen to put your pressure line in your return line, you go to start the car and touch the steering wheel, you'll see it. So you want to make sure that you put that in there. Make sure it's seated down in there all the way. And all it is a little piece of metal with a spring. It's just like a pressure regulator. I'll go ahead and put this cap in here. So the bottom one is pressure, top one is return. And then we have our brand new looking boot. This is to keep dirt from getting down there in that seal. So we'll go ahead and put that on there. We'll turn this rack so that this is all the way in. And we'll put our adjusting nut and I'll set it to the amount of threads. So, let's get to it. Okay, got our tie rod ends on. Our rack and pinion's in, everything's bolted up, our bushings are in, our lines are on. If that pressure line seeps a little bit, I'll see if the guy at Les Schwab can tighten that up for me. I don't mind paying a little extra. But it's just a matter of getting the tires back to straight after I readjust this steering shaft, or steering gear. Get it back to center, and then we will put the tie rods in, put the sway bar back in, and fill her with fluid, jack her up, and bleed it out. Hey, she's almost done. Well, we got one side done. Got our cutter pin in, nicely bent over. We got our steering shaft back in. I got her centered up. I just hooked the tie rod back up and then turned the shaft until I got the tire fairly straight. The wheel is turned to the right a little bit, so the wheel's right about where it should be. Again, it's going in for steering alignment, so yeah. Oh yeah, check this out. When I took this passenger side boot off, look at all the shit that was in there. It's like fucking diarrhea. Okay, tie rods are hooked up. Everything but the sway bar's in. I'm gonna fill it with fluid and primer her up, get her bled. Now here's the other thing. Since I got the other tie rod in, put it on the ground, I moved the steering wheel, there's no slack. Feels like it's gone. So hopefully that was the case in the steering shaft. Because in the steering shaft I have to buy brand new from Ford and it's like $300, and at that point I'm just like, fuck it, I'll repair it myself. Alright, it's running. Power steering's it's gonna recuperate after a while, but it's really easy. It's a lot better than before. Me likey. Just out of curiosity, I wonder what it's like without a front sway bar. I'm gonna go find out. Okay. Everything works. The steering is a little jittery because of it being a little tweaked. So we'll head over to Schwabi's after we drop off our core and have them get this alignment all taken care of. The one thing that is really weird about this Explorer is if you drive it without the front sway bar, you'll feel like you're in a fucking boat. Going around corners, it was like a fucking wave. And it didn't really change the ride all that much. Maybe it was a little better, but you know, I was just... Anyways, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna blast this thing with some super clean stuff that I have, and alright, everything's cleaned up, tools are put away. I'm gonna go ahead and blast the undercarriage with some super clean along with this thing. Give it a good wash underneath. And these fans, oh, I recommend them. These are great. Oh. This is the shit I've been using. This stuff works pretty good for the most part. Just spray it all over it. It's got most of the dirt off in the oil. biodegradable, and it just eats the shit up, and once it goes in, it doesn't care. It doesn't matter. Just wash it off. Just still getting oil out of it. Fucking worm, look at that worm. He's like, oh shit. There, almost looks like brand new. Minus shitty paint job. Anyways, I'll update you on the drive after the steering alignment, because right now it's like, yeah.